Hi, I'm Arndt, guitarist from the Spanish death metal band Barbarian Prophecies, and I'm here to talk about the band, a little bit our music, the members, and we do it answering a few questions which came up now. So here we go. Assistance! Well, the day I don't know because I wasn't in there. I came later. I think the band was founded at the end of the year 2000, December. Well, the band was a fusion out of two local bands named Barbarians and Venomous Prophecies. These two bands united, and so they wanted each founding band name occur in the name. So out of Barbarians and Venomous Prophecies, wow, resulted Barbarian Prophecies. Well, I'm Arndt. I'm the lead guitarist, and I sometimes play a bit keyboard on studio recordings, not live. The founder of the band and the other guitarist is Oscar, rhythm guitar, as well as backing vocals. Then we have Alicia at lead vocals and bass guitar, and Diego on the drums. It is Lugo. It's in Galicia, in the northwest of Spain. Oh, this is the biggest block. I prepared this a little bit in writing. I don't know much about my band members because when we meet, we rehearse and we don't talk. Well, no, that's a joke. Sometimes we talk. But their influences and their development I had to point down here. So I have to look, sorry for this. We start out with Oscar. Oscar Besteiro is the founder of the band. He's the only one who is present in it from the beginning. I know this as a child, played the piano. His father was interested in music too, listening to rock and roll of the 60s and 70s. His first Begegnung, sagt man das?
Encounter.
In what?
Encounter
Encounter with rock. The first groups he listened to in rock. This was Dokken, Def Leppard, Deep Purple, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. Further on, he moved over to thrash. Here he mentioned bands like Metallica, Slayer, Creator, Testament, Sepultura, Megadeth, and Sodom. In the 90s, when music which occur in the 90s, they're principally death metal. He's mentioned, not only, also crossover and hardcore. Well, we all know that the 90s were the big epoch of founding new styles, of crossovering between the styles. The bands we mentioned: Deicide, Suffocation, Sinister, At the Gates, Necrophobic, Obituary, Death, Cataclysm, Extreme Noise Terror, Nazen, Napalm Death, Madball, Agnostic Front, Propane, Machine Head, Meshuggah, Dissection, and as well black metal bands like Marduk, Enthroned, Immortal, Mayhem, just to mention a few. And nowadays he looks for more or less innovative bands like Lamb of God, Gojira, Mastodon. He always was looking for new sounds, new influences, and what he likes, especially in death metal, our styles, that you can integrate all styles. It wouldn't sound bad. Every style can be put into, and the dynamic, the energy of the music. Then we have Alethea. She is the lead singer and bassist. She started up listening music with Queen, AC/DC. Afterwards, must thrash and melodic death, Children of Bottom, Kalmar, Dissection. Also bands like Deicide. At Deicide, Glenn Benton was her, well, how could you say, her most important impulse to start singing. It was a development continuing when how she came to extreme metal. But she likes listening to other styles as well. She likes in extreme metal as well the possibility to integrate many styles, the complexity of composition, the velocity, the energy, and something else, and no existent, not many stereotypes like in other styles existent. This is always surprising, because death metal, when you listen to the first time, you think it's very narrow, very limited, but that's not true. It's the opposite. Every influence can be found in. Then we have Diego Maya, our drummer. He began with 6 years a study in the conservatory of percussion. You must know that here in Spain there are conservatories of the state where you receive musical education, which prepares you for studying a superior grade. So he did this and graduated as well in Akisia. It's called Grado Profesional, professional grade. He was graduated when he was 16 years old. There he, at this time, he started up with playing drums and playing in projects of many different styles. Progressive, heavy power metal, folk metal, symphonic, metalcore, and now he ended up in Barbarian playing death metal. His main influences, sorry for reading, but too many details. His main influences are Metallica, Pantera, Judas Priest, Scorpions. As well, much later he listened to Sabaton, Dream Theater, Sepultura, Symphony X, Angra, Rhapsody, Annihilator. As well, he has many influences and many styles. He always wants to. Was heißt profitieren?
Was ist das?
Profitieren. He always wants to gozar.
Enjoy.
Enjoy and take use of different styles. His main motivation playing death metal is the energy, the difficulty, the complexity, especially in drums, and he's very ambitious. He always wants to learn new techniques, and death metal seems to be perfect for him. Well, at last I, as a child, I was not interested in music, to tell you the truth. I just was interested in the railway. I hated music, but growing up, well, I started to listen to early 80s pop music, like Yazoo or Frankie Goes to Hollywood, knowing well that my parents disliked it. This was the main impulse, because my parents were more classical or jazz music. A little bit later, I found out that the girls might like it if you are a rock star, playing the guitar. So well, I picked up an old guitar, learning some chords, which might be sufficient to be a rock star or playing such pop songs like I mentioned. Well, then I found out there is an electric guitar that looks more cool. This was the time when I listened to Bruce Springsteen, Bryan Adams, Simple Minds, later Foreigner. Well, and I went to class. I didn't like to practice. No, I didn't like it. It was very dry. But well, the girls liked it. They told me, and so I had to do it. I had to do it. Well, then I discovered AC/DC, Whitesnake, and I was real fascinated of the playing of Gary Moore. How could this guy play so fast? I wanted to learn this because the girls would like it, of course. But you see, the interest in music itself began to grow. From Gary Moore, I came to Ozzy Osbourne, who is still an idol of me, together with Black Sabbath, and there I listened as well to Deep Purple, all the big old influences. And I was practicing guitar more and more. Well, at least I found out the girls might like it if you are tough, a little bit hard, a little bit evil. This is good, this shocks their mother, so I bought myself the record Malleus Maleficarum by Pestilence. So I discovered extreme metal. Yes, my eagerness for music grew and grew, so then I decided there was nothing else to do for me, so I started the classical guitar. Yes, the classical. Listening to Forever by Ozzy Osbourne, there's an organ intro, which someone tells me, well, this is inspired by Bach, so I listened to Bach church organ. I listened to more of Bach, and I started listening to more compositions. So this is how I came to study classical guitar. I graduated, I still play it, I still play electric guitar, and when I moved to Spain, in 2009 I entered in Barbarian Prophecies. They were reformatting after a severe car accident, which Oscar suffered. He had to learn everything new to move himself and of course to play the guitar. So we reformed the band with new members. I was one of him, and we prepared our first record, Remember the Fallen. There are many I just said. The genre, of course, it's death metal. But what is death metal? Yeah, we just talked about it. It's a maskler. It has an aggressive sound. You have to love the sound of distorted guitar. But that's all. There are so many schedules, so many sides and shapes. So I think our style is a mix. You see, we have many different influences. Our style is a mix. We don't sit down and say, well, now we gonna write a brutal death album. It has to sound like this, like this. It's let it come. Let the idea come. Let it flow. And then we put the ideas together. And this is our style. And every time sounding a bit different. Yes, in the early years, they had, I think, 4 or 5 demos or EPs recorded in small studios. Their first full length was, how was it called? Condemned Land, The War Begins, just before the accident of Oscar. And then, with me, in 2010, we released, or 2011 was, we released Remember the Fallen, a full-length album. The next full-length album in 2013, and it was called 13. Then an EP, Remains of Existence. The first one is also available in vinyl. Then 2018, yes, 2018, we did Origin, and now our actual work, this one, we released in 2021, called Horizon. Well, the underground scene, in general, it's important, because the bands are free from management pressure, free from, well, not really, they also want to like their music, but they can do what they like, really do what they like. And I just can talk about the Spanish underground. It's very prolific. Many bands we play with are very interesting, very high skills in playing, very high skills. They play really good, really precise, and you see a lot of passion they put in. So the underground is prolific, but we have to help each other. We don't get help from the industry, so we collaborate with many bands here and as well in Germany, and we look for bands from other countries to collaborate with, that they come here and play, and we go to their place, play. And this is how the underground works. Well, it always depends, on the other bands we collaborate, what occurs. Due to a little bit success of our last album, and after the pandemic, we have enough shows. Thanks to God, we have enough shows. The next one is played here at the coast in Ferrol. Then we have in the autumn, we have several shows at the other part of Spain. Journey pretty far, the east coast, here at the northwest. The next year we are planning to go to Germany, to do 3 shows there. The band there, Skull Harvest, will come here before, and 1 or 2 times a year Oscar is hosting a festival called Napalm Fest, where the bands we collaborate with are playing. So you can see the exact dates of the upcoming shows in our Facebook profile, Bandcamp as well. Yes, I just mentioned it. Of course, we are in Facebook like every band. There you can find every information. If you want to purchase CDs, también LPs we have in vinyl, you can contact merchandise we just sell in the shows. But if you live far away and can't come to the shows, you can contact one of our labels. There is Violets and Veins, Iron Matron, Hackatomb, or Bass Records. You can find them as well in internet. They are here in Spain. And we have Bandcamp. There you can purchase every song. As well, you can stream it in Spotify. I think we have a band page too, but not many bands have band pages. Yes, Spotify and YouTube, of course. We have a YouTube channel. One topic where all our songs are, and one other were a bunch of videos, officials, which we made with professional teams, and some homemade of us playing in the rehearsal room, or también. Also, we did a full album video of the album Origin, where played little clips with friends, and well, it's amazing. Look up for it in YouTube.
Instagram.
What?
Instagram.
Instagram. Instagram, of course, here as well in Instagram. Look at these platforms with the name Barbarian Prophecies. You will find it without problems. Well, I think this was it. After this little interview, we will put up one of our videos, and so you can enjoy one of our works from this album, Horizon. Well, thanks for listening. Take care. Bye bye.